they gave the time to me. So I'm thankful to them. But I insisted that there should be one lady, and therefore she stood up. Because Bangladesh believes in women empowerment. We are very lucky that today, tomorrow we will be observing the 50th anniversary of Bangladesh independence. And we are lucky this year, we have been observing the 100th anniversary of Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. And we are also lucky that this year, 2021, Bangladesh could graduate, met all the essential criteria of graduating from LDC. So this year is a very significant year. And today is a lovely day. Although you are enjoying the sun, don't worry, because you are getting vitamin D that protects you from the cold. Today, on this day in the evening, in that night, we had one of the worst, incident in the history of Bangladesh. On 25th night, Henderson, only in Dhaka city, around 10,000 people were massacred. Unarmed people were massacred for no fault of them. So today, and that increased between 25th to 27th, these 3 days, it increased to around 45,000 people there. That is one of the very saddest history of Bangladesh. Since many of you are from abroad, so I thought I should share with some of the history of Bangladesh, how we ended up in the liberation movement. In 1970, there was the first national election in undivided Pakistan. That was the first national election under the military government of General Aga Muhammad Yahya Khan. It was a fair election. In that election, the majority party of then East Pakistan, majority party of Pakistan, led by Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, they won most of the seats, majority seats. In East Pakistan, out of 169 parliamentary seats, Bangabandhu's party got 167 parliamentary seats, out of a total of 300. Only in East Pakistan, out of 169, 167. Even in East Pakistan, his allied groups, there was the other minority party was J.D. Bhutto's People's Party. And that secured 80 seats in whole of Pakistan. There are some other smaller parties, many of them aligned with Bangabandhu's party, and the rest of the votes were divided between them. So naturally, after the election, as per the general rule, the party that got the majority votes, they must be allowed to run the administration. But since our belief, Bangabandhu's party, is basically from East Pakistan, and therefore Pakistani military junta, in connivance with the People's Party, J.D. Bhutto, they denied holding the National Assembly. It was supposed to be, the National Assembly is supposed to sit on the 1st of March 1971. But suddenly, on the March 3rd, but certainly on 1st of March, at around 1 o'clock in the news media, General Yahya Khan, postponed the sitting of the parliament. As a result, people of Bangladesh, people of then East Pakistan, everyone, rank and file, does not matter. They were so upset. They came out of their office. For me, I was working in my office, and once we heard about it, we just left the office and started movement, non-cooperation movement. Non-cooperation movement. And that resulted in a non-cooperation movement throughout the country. When people's voice was denied, when people's when people voted for the party that should be governing the country, they are not allowed. When democracy was castigated, at the time, naturally people of then East Bengal or East Pakistan, they rose to the occasion. It is a very sad story. During our 23 years partnership with Pakistan, it's a very sad story. Even as early as 1952, 56% people of then Pakistan, both the wings, used to speak in Bangla, Bengali language. That was the native language, mother language. Only 3% people, mostly those immigrated from the Indian part, they used to speak Urdu. But they declared, then government declared, Urdu would be the state language of Pakistan, ignoring the voice of the majority. And again in 1971, they totally denied the Awami League to, form the government. So, on the 7th March, which my, friend Babu had already mentioned, 7th March, Bangamundhu in the racecourse meeting where I was present, in front of millions of people, but it really rejuvenated people. It inspired the whole nation, rank and file. He is such a smart person. You see, release all the people that have been arrested. He made 4 demands. By that, it was not a declaration of independence. But people like us who are on the field, and over the last 23 years, Bangamundhu basically, grown up the whole country for autonomy because of the discrimination and deprivation of these East Pakistanis again and again in every area. So people were ready for independence. But on the 7th March, short of speaking, only thing he said that this one, Everest Sangram, Muktir Sangram, Orthonoitik Muktir Sangram, Everest Sangram, Shadinotar Sangram. এদেশকে রক্ত যখন দিয়েছি আরো রক্ত দেব দেশকে মুক্ত করে ছাড়বো ইনশাআল্লাহ. So he basically gave the message to us and also said, whoever around you under the leadership of the political party Awami League in your own area, in your own mohalla, in your own district, develop barriers, start fighting against the enemies. Basically he gave us the signals, all the signals. And he said, if I cannot give you any more advice, any more instruction, you know what to do. Do your best. And that was the call he gave us. Anyway, but still he wanted to negotiate with the Pakistani government. And he did. On the 25th March today, he was negotiating till that date. Negotiation collapsed on 24th. 25th, the Pakistan army was reinforcing its soldiers during this period. And on 25th March, at around 12 o'clock, the Pakistani soldiers let loose a genocide of the unarmed people of Bangladesh. And on the first incident, around 10,000 was killed. And therefore Bangabandhu declared independence of Bangladesh. So as you look at the history, it is Pakistani government who subjugated and that East Pakistan says no. East Pakistan forced to get out of the Union of Pakistan because their behavior was pretty bad. Anyway, during the war, these 9 months, 10 days, Bangabandhu was a prisoner. And Pakistan government tried its best to get a message from him stating that those who are in India, 10 million people, including me, were in India. One message, that come back, and he never did. He never did. That was his determination. It was because of a determination and foresight we have a lovely land, Bangladesh. It is Bangabandhu who thought of it as early as 1947, immediately after the partition of India, because of deprivation and discrimination and economic disparity. He since then started thinking of a separate autonomy, initially autonomy, then of course a separate homeland. So he is truly our father of the nation. He is an architect, and he is truly the father of the concept of Bangladesh as an independent state. There have been many leaders in this part of the world, but no one ever could inspire these people of then Bengal, then East Pakistan, so much unlike Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. He was a great orator, a great communicator. Look at his speech of 7th March, 19-minute speech, one of the best in the world. And with that he inspired the whole nation. During the war, during the war, liberation war, when people used to get little, upset or because of despair, at the time you just listen his speech and that's enough. That will electrify you to fight for that cause. That is our Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Bangabandhu developed friendship with Pakistan. Now many people might say, what is this? They are our enemy. Why should you make friendship? There was strong objection of his going to Lahore for the OIC summit. But he decided it because there was a large number of Bangladeshi living in Pakistan, thousands of them. At the same time, there are thousands of Pakistanis were in then East Pakistan and then Bangladesh. Because those people will suffer, so he don't like that. And therefore, he agreed one condition. The Pakistan first must recognize Bangladesh and then he will go there. And then he has put up few more conditions. So look at that his policy of friendship, even he made friendship with his enemy. That is Bangladesh. A unique, we are proud of it. And I see the same thing in his daughter, our Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. She also maintained the same principle. She maintains friendship to all, particularly with all the neighbors. We have resolved all the problems with our neighbors through dialogue and discussion, without shooting a single bullet. We have resolved our problem with India, the almost 4,000 kilometer border with India. Always neighbors always has a lot of difficulties, but we resolve it without firing a single shot, only through dialogue and discussion. We resolve our sharing of water with India through dialogue and discussion. We resolve our problem of sharing of maritime boundary both with India and Myanmar through dialogue and discussion. Bangladesh is a model in the world in resolving, particularly more so a Muslim majority country, where they have resolved all the issues through friendship, through dialogue and discussion. It is an example of, a country of, that loves for peace and friendship. Thanks God, because of this, I am a beneficiary of it. During my 6 years at the UN General Assembly, at the UN, I was very lucky. Bangladesh got elected to around 52 committees, commissions and the other bodies. And in most of the cases with majority votes. One time my colleague, friend, Susan Rice of USA, she asked me, I was a teacher, so she said, Professor Momen, how come you get more bond of peace that will imitate peace across the nations? Although that did not happen. But the good news is, now Bangladesh is a brand name in the UN for peacekeeping. We are number 1 in the UN peacekeeping. It's not only we have the largest force peacekeeper contribution, troop contributing country at the UN, we also have been campaigning, promoting one principle across nations, and that is culture of peace. Culture of peace. We believe, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina believes, Nowadays there are so much of violence, terrorism, war and terror, tensions. Prime Minister believes that if we can, all those terror, tensions, violence emanates from a mindset of intolerance. It comes from a mindset of disrespect towards others. It comes from a mindset of ignorance towards others. So if we can inculcate a mindset of tolerance, a mindset of respect towards others, irrespective of race, color, ethnicity or religion. Most of the fighting, as you see, is due to an example. Recently, as you know, around 1.1 million Rohingya of Myanmar, the minority group, has been kicked out of the land because of spreading venom of hatred against them for years. Because of that hatred, the Myanmar people consider Burmese think they are insects. And as a result, these people have been kicked out of their homes. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina opened her border and again proved she is the daughter of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib, who had a generous heart. By giving them shelter, she has shown the world the humanity is above all. Humanity is above all. And the principle of culture of peace basically teaches us to be more humane, irrespective. These are all, children of God, and we all have to work together for the betterment of the people. Even this year we had a lot of program for the observance of the 100th anniversary, the Mujib Bosho, and also for 50th year anniversary of Bangladesh. But because of COVID, we have reduced all those programs. Because Sheikh Hasina and her sister, they are very concerned, just like their father. They don't want anyone to suffer by organizing thousands and thousands of people's gathering. And therefore you see, and even I must thank our mayor, he did organize it outside so that particular one that don't affect anyone. Anyway,